Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brewbuilt Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brewbuilt line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brewbuilt Conicals. You can trust Brewbuilt with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brewbuilt at morebeer.com.
Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
Great beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia. That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No. We're going to teabag fight.
Yeah. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Session. I'm your host, Justin Crosley, joined today by JP, Tasty, Beardy, and Bevo. We're all here for your pleasure.
Glad to be here.
You're almost here.
We're all ribbed for your pleasure.
We're here.
There you are, Tasty.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Try to get you some volume there.
Is it me? Does it sound like me? I'd be an impersonator.
It sounds enough like you.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Soundboard's working fine.
It's got a lot of gremlins in it lately.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not the beer that's been getting spilled in it.
No, it's not that. There was random wires unplugged and...
Really?
Yeah,
real gremlins.
Yeah.
Actually, gremlins. Okay.
Plugging shit.
Yeah.
Like
Tastes kind of
unplugged.
weird, too.
That's weird.
Yeah, just unplugged. I don't know. Sabotage, probably. Sabotage.
We have somebody amongst us. I'm looking around now.
Yeah.
Denny
I got
Kong
mine
is in
right.
here unplugging shit, so his podcast will do better.
Or Marshall from Brewlosophy.
Yeah.
That's probably Marshall.
Run the video surveillance thing back. We got to check this out.
It probably is Marshall. Marshall's real short.
He can fit under the desk.
He doesn't even have to crawl. He can just walk right under the desk.
Yeah. He's probably doing a triangle test with all the cables.
He's a tiny man.
Unplugging one out of 3.
I think he's there now.
Well, it's a good time. And you know what I realized walking in here today?
What?
We've complained about it before, but the lights in Todos Santos, like one day they changed from like, because all the trees are lit up and whatever, like Christmas lights, but the white lights.
Yeah.
They were like the weird LED lights for 2 years. They were super bright and like frost white, and now they're different.
Oh.
They're back to like a softer... They're still LED, but they're different and they're softer, and it looks really pleasant.
I think they realized that the other ones look like trash.
Yeah, it looked terrible. So
maybe that's why the rent's going up and people are getting kicked out.
The rent is too damn high. We are getting a friggin' Chipotle, though, in Todos Santos.
Right
yeah.
Saw that.
Pretty excited about that, I'll be honest,
exciting.
dude. It's worth the gamble between getting salmonella or a really filling bowl.
I think it's open even.
Oh, really?
I thought I saw.
It looks like it's
Oh,
open.
damn.
I saw people in it the other day.
Man, I'm just in this one corner of Todos Santos, like the garage to the studio and then back home, and then I'm gone, man.
I'm on the taco place. Now we're going to have to decide which is better.
Ooh.
Oh, Chipotle, hands down, for sure.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
But Chipotle's so giant all the time, so sometimes you just want a couple tacos. And
True, yeah.
I guess Chipotle does do that, too. I never go in there without ordering the giant thing.
They do?
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess, look, better for you. That's, I guess, what I meant. But, I mean, that place, the Al Pastor at the taco joint, it's pretty good, man. Not going to lie. Not going to lie about it.
Thank you for not lying.
This portion of JP brought to you today by Chipotle.
What's up, JP? Well, let me tell you.
Hey, thanks to our sponsor, the good folks over at More Beer. Don't forget to go thank them for bringing you this session. And More Beer wants to change your malt game with Viking Malt. Hailing from Northern Europe, Viking Malt is a family-owned malt house since 1883 and is the largest specialty malt producer in the world. Their base malts are malted from null-lox varietals that don't contain the enzyme lipoxygenase, which leads to trans-2-nonenal in beer, if you didn't know that, which is responsible for those stale cardboard flavors. Head over to morebeer.com and brew with ingredients from the future. Check them out over there. On today's program, we've got Bale Breaker Brewing Company out of Yakima, Washington, on the program with us today.
Great.
The brewery exists apparently in the middle of a hop field, a hop farm.
Damn.
So I think they've got the market cornered on fresh hops.
And they only do saisons.
Yeah.
They just cut the vine and just drag the vine through the boil, and it's fine.
So I do think we're going to have our fair share of IPAs on today's program with the folks from Bale Breaker, and we'll get to them in just a few minutes, as we always do. A couple of announcements for you. Announcements brought to you today by Drake's Brewing Company. Go to drinkdrakes.com and check it out. They got a lot of great beers. Black Robusto Robust Porter, my favorite, 1500 Pale Ale. Got a new Pilsner out there that's been good. Draconic Imperial Stout. They got their Kickback India Pale Ale. All sorts of things. Go check them out at drinkdrakes.com, and they're good people. All right, so Spring Brews Festival, I've been telling you to save the date. It's Saturday, March 30th. Tickets are now on sale. You can go to thebrewingnetwork.com and get your tickets, and it sells out every year now, so I'd go get your tickets if I were you. Also, you save a little money if you get your tickets early. There are early bird and late bird tickets, and once I sell out of the early bird tickets, the price goes up.
And they always sell out. So.
Yeah, that's right. It's a cheap festival. It's at least 60 breweries. We usually have some.
Just a great selection of beers too. So.
Yeah, some of the best beer.
It's not our great hospitality. It's their beer.
It's their beer. We usually have between 60 and 65 breweries, and you get all unlimited tasting for $40 if you get your early ticket. So I recommend you do that. It's a great. It goes to a great cause as well. The TSBA Association, who puts on the summer music program here in Todos Santos, and also funds some local youth music programs. So get your tickets, help a good cause. Go to thebrewingnetwork.com and get your Spring Brews Festival tickets happening March 30th. All right, and then as always, you should be supporting us in any way that you can. If you like this program, we'd appreciate it very much. You can do your Amazon shopping by clicking on the Amazon link on our website. You can sign up and become a member of the BN Army, and for as little as $2 a month, you're entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is a chance to win $100 to spend over at More Beer. You can subscribe to BYO Magazine, and we get a little piece of that action, and the same with the AHA. So if you're looking to support the BN, do all those things. Go to the festival, buy merchandise from the website, and tell our sponsors that you love them for loving us. All right. Get updates and images and all kinds of stuff over on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Send your feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. We love to hear from you and do all of those things. Do we have a Twitter game today?
We do, Justin.
Figured we might. Twitter game is brought to you today by the American Homebrewers Association, a community of homebrewers and an essential source of brewing tips, recipes, and homebrewing culture. Visit homebrewersassociation.org and learn about all the benefits of membership. What's our Twitter game?
Well, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but it recently came out and caused a kerfuffle that Netflix was recording the choices that you make while watching their new Black Mirror movie. Did you see that?
I did see it, and I did not hear that controversy. But of course they are. Like it's their software doing it. I mean, did anybody think that isn't possible?
I didn't. I mean, I didn't. I don't care. I'm fully aware that everybody's watching all the time. It doesn't bother me.
But are people upset that particular thing?
Yeah, because they're keeping the data on the choices that you make, and then they're going to use those to craft new, quote, adventures.
That makes sense to
right?
me.
I think so, too, but people were mad.
The only thing I don't like about it is, without giving a spoiler alert here, I don't want them knowing like which disastrous thing I wanted the guy to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It would be different if you could, in 6 months, download a psychological profile on yourself based on the choices that you made.
Yes, now we're talking.
That would be different.
Yeah, I could share it with my team of shrinks. Okay.
They have it already.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, it turns out we do that also.
What? Here at the BN?
Yes, we record. We keep.
Seems like a lot of work.
We keep the choices that you make and the things that you do while you're listening to the show. So I want you to just let us know, be upfront and open about what sort of dirt do we have on you.
Okay. I like it.
Tell us what we already know.
Yeah, tell us what we know about you.
It will go easier that way if you just admit it.
Yeah,
That's
we
true.
won't publish yours.
Yeah.
That's how growth happens.
Tell us when it
Right.
is. Just confess.
All right, of course, the winner of our Twitter game gets a magical prize that Bevo sends out every week, each and every week. Okay, how about some feedback? Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Feedback's brought to you today by the Beer Law Center. Go to beerlawcenter.com and check it out. John takes care of our trademark, and he can do your brewery filings for you, too, and take care of your trademarks. He's a good guy, understands the beer industry very, very well, and I highly recommend him over at beerlawcenter.com. All right, just a little bit in the feedback this week from a gentleman by the name of Justin, as a matter of fact.
No relation.
It's a thank you email. He says, "What up, my networks? First off, Doc, what gives? You've built up enough tension. Isn't it about time for the raging comeback appearance?" You guys have had, so I don't know if Doc's going to have a comeback appearance, but I will pass the message along. You guys have had some great episodes recently, but it would be fun to get someone back on the air that likes to drink a couple beers per hour.
Would it, though? Actually, listen to the last show.
Yeah.
Humans were on.
Yeah. He says, anyway, I thought, though, you'd get a kick out of my beer names in the KLCC Brewfest up here in Eugene. Are you ready for the names? His Scottish 70 was called Beardy's Bifocals. His brewed IPA was called Tasty Low Hug. He's clearly a fan from the old days, too. His Belgian Blonde is called Tasty Crack Cans, which used to be a wonderful song we play here on the BN.
Oh, yeah.
His Belgian Triple is called Touch the Felt, going way back into the archives for that one. Also a song.
I don't even know that reference.
You were around back then, but...
Probably listening about as much as I do now.
Crazy Jack.
It was...
With his puppet. Wasn't it?
Yes. And Doc would say, Touch the Felt, and then I think Push remixed it all into a song.
Probably,
the
yeah.
Touch the Felt song.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fun fact, Taryn works with Crazy Jack's wife.
Really?
Yeah, just so you know.
Is she similar to Crazy Jack?
I don't know. I've never met her.
Okay.
And neither Taryn hasn't met Crazy Jack, but she's like, anyway, it was a whole weird thing.
Yeah, understood. Okay. His Imperial Stout, which took first place, by the way, was called Bevo's Double Wide.
It's because I'm a winner.
Current.
The Dark Mild, which took third place in the competition, was called Major Jip.
There we go.
Oh.
And his Belgian Pale with Brett took third place and was called DOTW, Drunk of the Week.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. He says, I'll send Bevo the blue ribbon because I owe it all to you guys.
Wow.
So.
Hanging her double wide.
Yeah. There you go. You can get your feedback read on the air as well by sending feedback over to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com.
Congratulations.
Quick question, Tasty. Did you try this year's Pliny the Younger? I'm sure you have.
No, I have not. I'm embarrassed.
Really?
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't search it out. I didn't.
Wow.
I see.
I didn't.
Wow.
I'm over that chasing beer thing.
What's going on? I'm tasting over there.
Am I fading?
Yeah.
Am I fading? Am I awake? Am I sitting up?
Getting darker. Oh my God! It's like
how I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I didn't know I left.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we're the last people you're going to see.
That's right.
Somewhere on his timeline is a younger him, preventing him from interacting with this space and time, and he's fading away like back to the future.
Well, we got younger.
I get a 3-part series out of that.
We got younger here at the Hop Grenade, doing a couple different events with it. But I bring it up because I thought it was fascinating that. So we're having our event for it, our public event next Sunday. We had 200 tickets available. We're a pretty small tap room, 200 people. Sold out in 14 minutes.
Whoa.
Sold out 200 tickets in 14 minutes.
Wow.
Which I just thought was insane. So much so, that I had people emailing me at 2:15. We sent it out to our Hop Grenade Army list. And you have to be on the list to get the link, And, yeah, people at 2:15 were like, hey, the link didn't work. It says no, tickets not available. And I'm like, well, if you saw that it said tickets aren't available, then the link worked.
Right.
You missed out by a minute. Like, that's how fast. Wow. And that beer just continues to crush it that way. Breaking records.
Do you think there's a gray market where people buying a bunch of tickets to then resell? No?
No, I mean, you could only, it's limit 2 per person.
Oh, okay.
And no, we would have heard about that pretty quickly, I think. It's been sold out for days now, and it's happening next weekend, but... those whale beers are still pulling in the fans.
Now I feel bad. I should be chasing.
It's just crazy.
And especially that one. Like, that's been out for years.
Right.
It's a double IPA, or what is it? A triple
I think,
IPA?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It's a
quadruple, I don't know.
But it's, what is it, 2005?
Yeah. But it does...
People care about it still?
It does. They do. It does change a little every year, I guess. This year I heard it was quite good. People really liking it, which is nice to hear because they got that big new brewery.
Yeah,
so brewing it on a new system.
Do you know if they're making more of it? Like making more of it available?
They did make more of it available. I don't think that new accounts got it, like newer accounts, but older accounts like us got more of it than ever before. So they spread the love more among their existing accounts.
Crazy.
So,
God
in fact, I'll give you a heads up. We got some in Fort Collins, Colorado at the Hop Grenade out there, too. And the beer is in high demand there, but not so much that we have to do a private event for it. So if you're in the northern Colorado area and you want to try it, go to thehopgrenade.com and you'll see if it's on our tap list. And we got a few kegs of it, so we'll probably put them on. Yeah, it had before. I don't know exactly how many states, but it goes to a few. Okay. However, Russian River had pulled out of Colorado entirely last year. So all of last year we didn't get any Russian River beer, and now they're back, and we've got pretty much Russian River beer on constantly at the Hop Grenade in Fort Collins. So, so if you're looking to try not just younger but other Russian River beers, go to thehopgrenade.com and click on Fort Collins. You can check out our tap list there. So. Anyway, I just thought that was exciting stuff. Like that beer still just
that's crazy, man.
It's like concert tickets. That's not it's not the biggest number of tickets, 200, but it's still just any beer, 200 tickets in 14 minutes. Just kind of blew my mind.
If there had been more tickets, it sold even more.
And I feel like it's always sold out fast for us here, but I just don't feel like it was even that fast in previous years. So not only is it still popular, it's increasingly popular after all these years. All right. Well, I just found that fun.
God bless him.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take ourselves a quick break. And when we come back, we've got Bale Breaker Brewing Company on the program with us. I'm excited to talk to them. We're going to try their beer. We're going to start out with a pale ale, even though we've got some IPAs in the loop here. We're going to start out with their 41 pale. So hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back with Bale Breaker.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
First Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Hi, this is Wayne Wumbles from Cigar City Brewing, and you're listening to the session on the Brewing Network.
Thank you, Wayne. Welcome back to the program. The following segment is brought to you today by Beersmith Brewing Software. Go to beersmith.com and get your free 21-day trial right now. It's in version 3 and offers support for mead, wine, and cider recipes for the first time ever. There's a water profile tool built right into the recipe builder. It does everything you need it to do and more, including completely revised databases, including new hops, malts, fruits, juices, honey, and a style guide for mead, wine, and cider. Go check it out at beersmith.com and get your free 21-day trial. All right. As promised, we have Bale Breaker Brewing Company on the line with us, and we should have Kevin Smith and Danica Norman. Are you there, folks?
We're here.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I hate it when that whole introduction is anticlimactic, you know?
So, you hear and you can just hear the computer on the other end.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, Kevin Smith is the head brewer over there at Bale Breaker and one of the owners, and Danica Norman is their marketing manager. And where are you guys right now? Are you in lovely Yakima Valley as we speak?
Yeah, we are. We're hanging out in the break room at the brewery right now.
Excellent. And so I was trying to make sure I got this right, but Bale Breaker lives in the middle of a hop farm. Is that correct?
Yeah, it does. We about 6 years ago pulled down 3 acres of a hop field, which is Field 41, which will be the namesake of our pale ale that you guys are about to try.
Perfect.
But pulled down 3 acres and built a brewery. I guess the backstory for that is my family has been growing hops in the Yakima Valley since the 1930s. And so finally, about 6 years ago, we decided it was time to take the hops we've been growing and try to make some beer with it.
Interesting. So it's your farm that and your family's been doing it for a couple generations here.
Yeah, we're 4th generation. My great grandparents planted 5 acres of hops about 2 miles from the brewery in 1932. Wow. And when my father was about 20 years old, his grandfather, my great-grandfather, passed away, and he dropped out of college to run the hop farm with his grandmother. And he's been farming ever since, and now my older brother is taking over the farm from my dad, and they run all of our farming operations. And then myself, my sister Meghann, and her husband, my brother-in-law, Kevin Quinn, also named Kevin, built a brewery on the hop farm about 6 years ago. So
got it. And you're the first one in the family to decide to do a brewery after all of these years.
So after I graduated college, I started brewing in Seattle at Two Beers Brewing Company, and was a brewer over there for about 2 years. My sister and Kevin Quinn were living over in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. My sister worked at Coeur d'Alene Cellars Winery, and my brother-in-law was in sales, and they kind of came to me and were like, hey, what do you think about building a brewery back on the farm? And I love the idea. I love the concept of creating my own beer. And so we pitched the idea to my dad and brother, and after a little bit of discussion, we made it a reality. And so.
Now, when you say a little bit of discussion, do you mean arguing and convincing, or was he pretty on board?
No, it wasn't the most popular idea right out of the gate, but after some thought, my brother spent some time getting a master's degree, and for his final project, his keystone project or capstone project, he wrote the business plan for the brewery, and won an award from the university he was getting his master's at, and at that point we were like, well, this looks like it might be a pretty feasible business model, and so we started moving forward after that.
I see. Was there concern at all? I'm just trying to get a picture of what the nays might have been, and was there some concern about competing with the customers who buy your hops?
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of the first concern. Was we didn't want there to look like to be any competition with the people that were customers of our farm.
Right.
But I mean, this year we're going to produce probably 30,000 barrels of beer. We use probably about 99% of hops that we grow ourselves.
Wow.
And it comes out to probably about 1% of our farm's yield. So
I see.
We're barely taking anything from the farm.
Well, and in some ways, I would think even the opposite, that it's almost an advantage to other breweries who might be buying your hops. You guys are like an on-site production lab for your own product.
Yeah, it's very true. It's kind of it works. Yeah, definitely both ways. I mean, we have access to a lot of awesome information from the hop industry and stuff like that. We're always on the cutting edge of trying new hop products, like cryo hops and lupulin powder and things like that.
Yeah, nice.
Experimental hops we get to see a lot, and so we get to give that feedback to our buddies that are brewers as well.
Right.
But also, we ask for a lot of help from our friends in the brewing industry too. We pick their brains a lot, and kind of being so closely tied to the industry, it's worked well for us, and I hope that we've also been able to give some of our buddies some good insight on some stuff as well as we've been learning.
Sure. So
I don't know if you guys have heard anything about the Yakima Valley and how much it is responsible for producing the world supply of hops. But yes, we are on a hop farm, but we're also literally located in the heart of hop country in the United States. I mean, in the last year, we were producing 42% of the world's hop production right here out of Yakima. So not only are we located on our own farm, but we're just at the center of the industry during fresh hop season. All the industry leaders are coming around doing hop selection. They're hanging out at our brewery. It's really, really cool.
I love that. Yeah, that's a lot. The last number I heard, I thought was 30%. And so to jumping up to, 42% of the world's hops is amazing.
Yeah, and that's largely due to the growth in the craft beer industry, which is interesting.
Sure.
Is the air just thick with hop oils?
Oh, hang on. What's wrong with your microphone?
Did you push the button there, Warren?
Beardy's trying to talk to you, and he can't figure it out.
Sorry.
Go ahead now. Try again.
When it's hop season, is the air just thick with the oil and just can you get IBUs from just setting a beer out on the counter?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's during the month of September, the valley doesn't sleep at all. I mean, it's 24/7 hop harvesting. Valley's really alive during that time. But it kind of continues all the way through during processing and pelletizing season as well. You can just get dinner downtown and in downtown Yakima in December, and the entire town smells like hops because they're running the pelletizing plants 24 hours a day. So
wow,
you kind of see it from late fall all the way through the winter into the springtime that there's always a little bit of a dank aroma around the valley. So.
Sounds great.
Makes sense.
Can also grow weed and no one will know.
That never happens, I'm
That's
sure.
very true. I mean, it's not only the hops, so they do their part too.
Sure. Yeah, so we're doing a podcast now with YCH Hops out there called the Hop and Brew School podcast.
Right. Yeah. Doesn't Nick do that?
Yeah. Nick Ziegler, great guy, and we've been working with him.
He's a brilliant brewer.
Yeah, he is. He's a lot smarter than I am, I'll tell you that. So I just let him take the reins of the show, and but we got a lot of cool things happening with them, and hoping to make it out to their Hop and Brew School next harvest as well, next year or later this year,
definitely.
I should say.
Yeah, definitely. They run a really good program out there.
Yeah.
You get to see a lot of cool, interesting stuff, and then. Typically, in years past, we've thrown an event for them out at the brewery, either at the brewery or our hop farm as well.
Oh, excellent. Well, I wouldn't want to miss that. Now, we're going to jump into the beer here in a second, but I wanted to bring up another potential downside of the generations old hop farm and now a brewery. And Kevin, that is the pressure on you to make great beer. Because on one hand, I'm saying like, oh, you can be this like experimental place for the product that you sell, but then kind of whether you like it or not, you're kind of a showcase for the hops that you sell too now, aren't you? Like, I'm thinking Dad sat you down and was like, listen, Kevin, there's a few things you can fuck up.
Right.
The beer is not one of them.
No.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Right.
Yeah,
If you're going to put your peanut butter in your jelly,
yeah,
make it taste good.
Yeah,
Right.
you lay it all out there. It's like taking on
No,
your
that
clothes
was definitely a conversation we had too when we were starting. It was if we're going to do this, we're not going to fuck it up. That's for damn sure.
Sure.
And so we, we used a lot of our resources of the people that the brewers that we knew that were coming to our farm year after year, and so I picked a lot of brilliant brewers' brains, and we would not be here without some of the information that they just were willingly, open to conversations and talking about. Guys like Vinny, Ken Grossman,
that's great.
Brendan out of Odell, Mitch Steele. Those guys were all super helpful, and they were awesome. When we'd send them an email or give them a call, they were always willing to just kind of pick our brains. I remember shipping some samples like right when we opened down to Sierra Nevada, out their lab ran it for us, and
Excellent.
Be like, hey, is this thing chock full of diacetyl, and should we jump down the drain? They're like, well, it's not a really low number, so maybe you should think about it. Right? God damn it.
Right. That's excellent.
We were really adhering to quality from an early standard, and so we put one lab in, and it took us a little while to build it out, and we're using some resources externally, but now we've got two large labs, a lot of equipment, three full-time quality assurance employees. I mean, we put quality assurance first, without a doubt. We know that kind of being so tied to the hop industry in the valley as well, that we really, really need to put out a high-quality product.
Sure.
And then also, kind of part of that though is, we make some IPAs and that's what we focus on, but we've also got a 5-barrel pilot system. We call it the Imagination Station.
Nice.
And that's where we can kind of play around. We can play around with experimental hops. We can play around with new brewing techniques. We can make saisons and pilsners and things like that people don't think that we make. But a lot of those beers kind of stick around here and stick around the valley, and that's you got to come out and check out some of those things. But yeah.
How many different hop varietals are you guys growing on site?
So on the farm we actually have two different farms. We've got about a little over 1,000 acres up in the town of Moxie. That farm's called Loftus Ranches, and then we've got about 1,000 acres as well down in Granger, and that farm's called Tributary Hop Farms. So we're a little over 2,000 acres of hops. Between the two fields, we're growing about 12 or 13 varieties.
Oh, so you've got a good selection then.
Yeah. That's a lot of acres.
Yeah, and it's a lot of the proprietary stuff. Our farm's a part of the hop breeding company, and so we're growing a lot of the HBC stuff. We're growing, Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic, Laurel, Equinox, some of the new hops like Sabro, things like that.
Excellent. All right, so we've got your Field 41 Pale Ale in our glass. Does one of you want to tell us about this while we take a sip?
Yeah, I can walk you through 41. 41 still is a baby of mine, I guess. But that was one of the first beers that we opened with when we came out about 6 years ago. We called it a pale ale. It's not necessarily a pale ale, like traditionally. It's a little bit more of a session IPA. Originally, it was about 4.5% alcohol. Over the years, it's kind of crept up a little bit closer to 5, trying to get some balance, a little bit more balance in it. But it's a big, dry pale ale with big aromatics, dry hopped at a little over 2.5 pounds per barrel. Simcoe, Laurel, Atanum, and Cascade kind of dominate it. But it's kind of what our take on what we think a pale ale should be. And when it came out 6 years ago, it was a little bit different than like the traditional pale ales that you could find out here out west. Yeah. That were a little bit more malt forward. We tried to just find the other end of the spectrum and see if some people like to drink a really, low ABV hop bomb, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people.
The answer is yes.
And the answer is yeah.
30,000 barrels later.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great beer.
It really is, yeah.
And you mentioned Field 41 is the field that the brewery's built on. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, that is. So all the fields are numbered, and actually there's like a color combination, like all the signs. So like if you're looking at like one of our cans, you might be able to tell that it's like a white sign with a red number system. That's like what our farm's color combination is, because there's so many hop fields in the valley.
Got it.
That you not only need to name the farms, but then you have to do a color combination so people know where they're going. So it just so happened to be that the field that we chose to build the brewery in was number 41. That was more geographic than for like branding or anything. I guess if it was like field 29, we would have had to run with that as well.
Right. Well, I think you're
field 41 kind of became part of our branding.
You're lucky with this one because it's a catchy name. My other favorite pale ale that doesn't exist anymore was Pale 31.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. Matt.
Yeah.
Listening to those guys made a hell of a beer. That was kind of what we hoped it would be. And we would have ran into some problems if it was Field 31. That's right.
There was one field you couldn't build in.
That's right. It was 31. This is a great beer, and I do think it's very akin to the Firestone Pale 31, with some differences, though, too. It is not an identical beer. It is hop forward. It's still balanced. I'm trying to describe to myself what the finish is, and I really like it. It's a little bit of citrus. It's probably more pine than citrus, but
I don't want to say like dank or resiny because it's just that's the words that we always use. But there's something.
It is a little resiny, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's something. It's like fresh.
Yeah,
like fresh resin. Like if you break open a pine cone. That kind of like, because there's some organic material that I think you're getting in there.
Okay,
it's
you know what I mean?
A dry, grassy kind of resin versus like dank, like wet forest resin, and it's a really interesting combination. You get all of the fruity top notes of the hops, and then there's just the right amount of bitterness, and it's a little grassy in the finish.
Bitterness. You hear my man? He's saying over here saying bitterness.
The bitterness,
man.
What do you think, Kevin? Are we picking up on some of the right things here?
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys are spot on. I mean, basically with that beer, we try to throw in a little bit of like some Munich Vienna malts, some flaked oat, and some wheats to kind of. Or some wheat to, kind of try to build some body, mimic some body, because there's not really a lot in that beer. So we try to use the flavors of the malts to mimic that. And then it's a big Simcoe bomb with some supporting hops. So you're pretty much right on with some of that resin and pine top there.
Okay. And I like, Beardy, that's the other thing. Both you and JP describe what I was trying to. But the fruity top notes was one I was really trying to pick out, too. Because I was tasting the pine, but there was something else. And, I was trying to say citrus, but I'd actually go more with the fruity, like you're saying, which is really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
That's well made.
It's very hot, very like a hop oil kind of character to it. It's really
but
you taste the beta in it.
And it's almost like there's a and I don't know if this is an insult, but if there's like a tannin there also,
that's true.
Where it provides like a foundation for that oil, right? So it's like if you think of it in a layer like oil, and then you got the tannin, then you have the beer.
Yeah.
And I know in beer we talk about tannin sometimes as a bad thing, but in this it's a good thing. It's a little more of the vegetal material, which rounds out that hop instead of focuses the resin, right?
Yeah.
What format are the hops that you're using in this?
Vinyl.
In Field 41, it's a mixture of T90 pellets and cryo pellets.
Cryo too.
Leaning a little bit heavier on T90 pellets.
Can you explain to the folks at home quickly what cryo hops are, just so they can get a picture of that too?
They're Walt Disney hops.
So the cryo pellets or cryo hops are it's a process that happens at the brokerage, essentially, where they'll like hammer mill the hops up into a powder. And essentially what they do is they remove all the lupulin, all the good stuff that we want, basically all the oils, the alpha acids, beta acids, everything that we're searching for, and they strip out like the leaf and the bract. And so it's a little bit more concentrated form of the hop that we're using.
Got it.
You do lose some things that are in the bract, and I've had a lot of conversations with brewers about this. That that was a part of our recipe, even though we didn't think much about it, was stems and leaves, but in bract. But for the most part, it's a concentrated form of all of the good things that we're looking for. So it gives you a little bit like fruitier punch. In some varieties, it might like strip out a little bit of like vegetative notes and things like that as well.
Okay, got it. All right, so we're going to try the next beer, which is Leota May. And while we're doing that, Danica, I wondered if you could tell folks where people can get your beer. Are you guys distributed, far outside of Washington, or can you give us an idea of where you guys are at?
So we're mainly in Washington. We are just breaking into new markets. In fact, just expanded further into Oregon this past week. So we're really on the western side of Oregon for the most part. We're primarily in the Portland area, and now just broke down through Eugene, Bend, Medford, all the way down to the Northern California border, as well as we're in North Idaho, and hopefully we're getting into Southern Idaho coming in May here. We'll see if that goes down, but it's really well saturated in Washington. From convenience stores to grocery stores, you'll be able to get really fresh beer from us pretty much everywhere.
Got it. And did I hear before you guys were saying, about 30,000 barrels a year is what you're thinking you're going to do this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of beer in a fairly localized region there. You guys are moving some local beer.
They're doing good.
That's right. We learned early on to, grow our roots really deep. That was some advice that was handed to the owners early on, and so we really believe that we want to be a premier Northwest brewery. We want to specialize in hop-forward beers, and that's just kind of the niche that we've carved out for ourselves.
Okay. Oh, well done. It's working. Okay, so now the beer that we've got is the Leota May IPA, which I understand has a story behind it as well, the name anyway. Want to tell us about this beer?
Absolutely. So Leota May is really cool. It's definitely a more feminine type of brand, and I speak to that as a woman because Meghann and Kevin's grandmother was Leota May, and she was one of the founders of the hop farm back in 1932. The crazy thing about it is she kind of had the foresight to plant these hops in 1932, which was the year before Prohibition ended. So there was rumors going around like Prohibition's going to end, the hop industry was failing, there was just really stagnant market because no alcohol was being made, no beer especially. So she, had the foresight to say, hey, let's plant 5 acres here in the Yakima Valley, and from there it just grew and grew and grew, and now here we are taking on the diversification aspect of bringing the brewery onto the hop farm. Leota May was not a completely given name at first. It was kind of an afterthought. They were struggling on naming this new IPA that was being added to the lineup. And then one day it was like, obviously we should name it after Leota May. That was like, duh. We had named all of our core beers after icons of the hop farm, and it just seemed perfectly natural to name this next IPA after Leota May in honor of her starting the hop farm.
I love it. It's a good tribute.
That's a cool story, man. I mean, that talk about foresight and planning and
great honor,
like,
very appropriate.
Yeah, that's
the brains on grandma.
Right. Right.
Cheers to her.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to describe the beer to us a little bit, Kevin?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So we came out with Leota afterwards. This was not like our first IPA that we'd put into cans, and the first one that we'd run with. That was Topcutter, which we'll probably get into next. But we wanted to diversify this from Topcutter a little bit, and so it's a really simple malt bill. It's just a little bit of two-row and some aromatic and some carapils. Just really, really basic, kind of just laying a foundation for the hops. But we tried to go with a little bit more dank and kind of what I say is like dark hops, I guess. And so it's a little bit of Simcoe, a lot of Mosaic, some Equinaut and Laurel. And so it's not like a really big like citrus or fruit bomb, but it's a little bit darker, like a little bit berry flavored, things like that. Just to kind of show that in a brand portfolio, you can have two IPAs that can live side by side that aren't necessarily replicas of each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we're going to do that side by side with a couple of beers after the break, too.
Oh, yeah?
We've got the other couple of IPAs.
Nice.
So this one is definitely danker.
Yep.
The aroma is... There's something a little too dank for me, but that goes away very quickly as soon as I taste the beer.
Dude.
I love the flavor.
Good name.
Yeah. The flavor is just awesome. This is the kind of IPA I would like to drink. And I don't know what it is, why the aroma first just kind of, steered me away for a second, but then...
It's intense, but I think you expected some sort of like clinging into the beer, and it's got a real clean,
it does.
nice, easy finish. I think that's what's surprising you, is the finish.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we really try to pride ourselves on, and it's like... You can throw a lot of really nice hops into a dry hop and create like a really complex and amazing aroma profile in an IPA. But one thing that we always, push on ourselves and on our brewers is that's only one aspect of an IPA. The other aspect of the hop bill has to be the bitterness. Like that is as much a part of the beer in an IPA as an aromatic profile. So we really try to have our IPAs have a smooth bitterness, like something that's like is present and it's there and it hits you, but it leaves you. It's not like a lingering bitterness that you're like scratching your tongue on or anything like that.
You got that right.
Kind of present and leaves you, and that's something that we really try to focus on.
I think you nailed it with that, and it's a great showcase of Mosaic.
Yeah,
like this is a beer where if I'm a brewer, I want to come to your hop farm brewery and say, show me what Mosaic will be like. And this will be it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is. I love Mosaic. It's one of my favorite hops. But in kind of our first flagship beer is Field 41 and Topcutter, we didn't have a ton of it around, and so it was just like a little complimentary piece. And so when we came out with Leota, we were like, this needs to be the showcase for Mosaic.
Yeah. You nailed it. I like this beer.
I really appreciate the attention to the bitterness in the finish. Like, both of these beers are very well attenuated. The malt is just there to balance with the bitterness, and even the water chemistry tastes like it's just spot on to where you have a drying finish, but it's not lingering bitterness. There's no harshness through the whole thing.
Yeah, can you give us any kind of tips on that? How to get that kind of cleaner finish that doesn't linger too long, like you say?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like when I try to make an IPA, like I'll try to dry it out, try to get it into the low 2s in Plato because I don't want it to be too sweet. Something definitely sub 3, and then And then I focus on choosing bittering hops. One of the main factors that I look at is cohumulin percentage. I think that it does a really good job of like giving you an upfront bitterness. Like you can, you know, if you're able to calculate it out to 50 or 100 or whatever you're shooting for, it might upfront taste like that, but it leaves you quick. And so I'm a big believer in cohumulin percentage. And then, you know, getting my brewing chops out on the West Coast, like when I really look at my water chemistry, I know in years past originally I was looking at my water chemistry as sulfate to chloride ratio and trying to push that up, you know, almost 3-to-1 sulfate to chloride, somewhere in the ballpark of like around like 100 parts per million of calcium, like a 150 on sulfate and around like 50 on chloride.
Okay.
And I know nowadays you're looking at hazies and all the stuff coming out of the beautiful state of Vermont and the surrounding areas, and it's quite a bit different than what I learned. But for the most part, I mean, it's, you know, make a true West Coast beer is have an assertive, present bitterness, and a nice kind of heavy on the sulfate ratio. That's I guess.
Got it.
I guess what we do around here.
Good advice. All right. Wonderful beer so far. All right, I got to get us to a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to try Topcutter IPA and Bottom Cutter IPA. So that's kind of the side-by-side I was saying, JP, that we get to do here.
I like it.
So can you guys hang in there for just a couple minutes while I take a break?
All right.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Thanks.
Hang tight. We are going to take a break. While you're at the break, you should be thinking about Brewers Publications. They've got the best in brewing books from water to yeast to hops to malt. They cover it all. Go to brewerspublications.com and check them out. They've got a book for everything that you want to learn about in the beer world. So check it out, brewerspublications.com. All right. When we come back, more with Bale Breaker Brewing Company. We've got Kevin Smith and Danica Norman on the line with us. We're going to try a couple more IPAs and see what other tricks Kevin's got up his sleeve with these beers, because they're damn good so far. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out, or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer. Whether for yourself or as a gift, when you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
This is Matt Brynolfson from Firestone Walker Brewing Company, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to gain a more in-depth knowledge of yeast, join White Labs March 13th and 14th for their Yeast Essentials 2.0 in San Diego, California. It's a 2-day workshop which will explore fermentation control points, tips for maintaining optimal yeast performance, and how to develop desired yeast flavor compounds. Attendees will learn methods for off-flavor detection, sensory evaluation techniques of different strains, as well as how to properly troubleshoot different fermentation problems. And if you can't make it to San Diego, no problem. They're offering a live webcast. Just register by... that's just for early bird pricing. You missed early bird pricing on February 14th, but you can still go check it out. Do it online or in person. Go to whitelabs.com/education. That's whitelabs.com/education. All right, we are still hanging out with Bale Breaker Brewing Company. We got some more of their beer in our glass. And before we get to that, I wanted to bring up some of the do good social programs that you guys do locally. I know that's a big deal to your company. So I wonder if you could tell me about the program that revolves around your, I think it's Sesiones del Migrante Mango IPA. Am I close? Close-ish?
Yeah, Sesiones is, it's a really cool project that we got to be a part of and kind of helped get off the ground just a couple years ago. It's a beer that we brew up here in collaboration with 4 other breweries. Ronin Fermentation Project out of Truckee, California, South Norte in San Diego, Cerveza Loba in Guadalajara, Mexico, and Cerveza Rio del Colima in Colima, Mexico. And so the idea behind the beer was to connect brewers in Mexico that kind of originate in the regions where a lot of the migrant workers in the valley and from the West Coast kind of come from. So it's a collaboration of breweries that kind of fit the trail of the migrant workers up all the way where they finish in Yakima at the hop fields and stuff. So the first beer that we brewed was down in Guadalajara at Cerveza Loba, and we brewed a mango IPA. And then we went down to Colima and brewed a coconut IPA as well. And then we've been had everyone up here to brew a mango IPA up here, which we brewed for, this will be the 3rd year in a row. And then I guess last year we went down to South Norte as well and brewed another collab. But up here, our beer that we brew, it's a really sessionable light IPA with a little bit of mango. It's definitely not over mango. It's like a little part of the beer, but approachable. And we release it in the middle of the summer. And all our proceeds from the batches that we brew go to a local organization called La Casa Hogar that basically benefits migrant workers and people that come into our valley and help them with citizenship, with housing, with education, language, things like that. And just kind of get them into our valley and into our community, because our community up here is so reliant on migrant workers that it would be hard for our valley to grow the amount of hops and apples and wine grapes and everything that we do up here without outside help.
Of course.
From people that are traveling up here to earn a living.
Yeah. Same with Central California too. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you guys must have an enormous population of migrant workers at harvest time.
Yeah, we do. Our farm now. I don't want to butcher the percentage, but it's well over 50% come through the H2A program.
Okay.
And come up and work through our. Might start early in the season, working and training hops and twine and things like that early on the hop farm, and then might also go help out in fruit. Help pick cherries and process cherries in like June and stuff like that when the hops are just growing, and then come back to hops and help out for the month of August and September during hop harvest. And then a lot of them also finish out apple harvest, which follows hop harvest. And so a lot of the workers that come up through the program can spend, 6 to 9 months in the valley and make a good wage. And it's a great program, and the valley's actually been able to grow through it because for quite a few years there was a labor shortage and crops weren't meeting demand because we didn't have enough people to help plant and pick them.
Got it. I love it. That's a great program. And then you guys also, do I have this right, that you were the founders of the Ales for ALS beer festival in 2013?
Yeah, we are. So that program came out. My family has a hereditary hereditary strain of ALS, and so the concept for Ales for ALS kind of came out of my mom and dad trying to use their connections in the hop and beer industry to raise money to find a cure for ALS.
Excellent.
And so we were one of the first breweries, obviously, that jumped on board with it. But essentially, our farm donates all of the hop to Yakima Chief. Yakima Chief donates all of the processing fees and pelletizing fees, and actually ships the hops out to all participating breweries for free.
Wow.
As long as $1 per pint of anything that gets brewed gets donated to ALS TDI to find a cause or to try to find a cause and a cure for ALS.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah.
And so it's taken off over the years too. I think we're up well over 150 participating breweries this year, and over the years we've raised almost $2 million.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's really great. Yeah, one of our local breweries here, Faction, does their Ales for ALS festival every year.
Oh yeah, Roger and Claudia. I've been down on that one every single year.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite Ales for ALS events.
It's a really good one, and they do. They know how to party for sure. But they get a lot of. I assume that all of those breweries are also brewing the beer that you're referring to. So I think it's really
so it's actually just a hop blend. Actually, Roger was a part of the hop blend this year.
Okay.
We will usually pick a spot either. It's been GABF in the past. Last year was actually a single fresh wet and wild down at Sierra. But there's some of the participating breweries that are around at some of those events. We might get half a dozen to a dozen brewers to help rub and sniff about 7 or 8 commercial hops and about 7 or 8 experimental hops, and come up with a blend that's about typically it's about 50 or 60% commercial hops and 40% experimental hops. But I think this year the blend that we chose was 3 commercial hops and 3 experimental hops. So it's a good way to brew with some of them. It's a really unique hop blend every single year, and it's an awesome way to brew with a really dank hop and raise some money for a good cause.
I love it. Good job. Good for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, Topcutter IPA is in our glass now. I'm gonna.
We have top and bottom.
We do have top and bottom. Yeah.
Any way you want it.
That's right.
That's the way you need it.
Yeah.
There's a top cutter first and then bottom cutter second, but the way that they roll through the fields is the opposite. The bottom cutter goes through first and then the top second. But
well, shit. Now what do we do?
If you drink bottom cutter first.
Yeah. Well, you knew that the public wouldn't understand that, so you had to dumb it down for us.
Top is first, so it goes first. It's on the top.
Yeah. So tell us about this beer, Topcutter.
I'm also drinking a Topcutter. It is my favorite beer far and away at the brewery, and that is so basic to be known as a Topcutter drinker here at Bale Breaker, but it is my favorite in here in the tap room, and it's so fresh. It was created alongside Field 41, so before the brewery even opened, Field 41 and Topcutter were brewed in test batches, divided into 5-gallon corny kegs, and then they just tested whatever combination of dry hops they could. And then the cool thing about all these industry leaders being involved in the brewery from an early point, being around during fresh hops, being around for selection, they got to taste what became Field 41 and Topcutter.
Nice.
And, we just knew that we had landed on a really solid product. So,
yeah.
Topcutter was developed around 2011, 2012. And so the brewery was really built on Field 41 and Topcutter from the beginning. Bottom Cutter and Leota May were the most recent additions.
Okay.
And then on the can, I don't know if you see, there is literally a Topcutter tractor on the can.
Yes.
And we did our rebrand recently, but it's a type of machinery that is used specifically for the hop industry. And it was replacing two men that used to roll on a tractor and hack away at the hop vines with machetes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So we named it after the Topcutter tractor, which is very essential to the hop farm.
The life-saving device. Now it's in a can.
That's right.
That's right. Saving lives one can at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is definitely our flagship beer. I mean, it's about 55 or 60% of our sales here. It's definitely our leader. We say that it keeps the lights on here, but I mean, Topcutter has grown a lot, like in 6 years as well. I mean, I like to tell our brewers around here that sometimes these beers are more ideas than recipes. But that being said, Topcutter will probably never come out and be a black IPA. But it's evolved over the years, and it's right where we really like it right now. It's a beautiful beer.
You got it dialed in.
Really light on the malt profile. Like I said, it's evolved. 6 years ago we used a lot of like C40 in it, and now we've backed that off to about to C10. Keep the crystal malts at a minimum. But it's a big Citra bomb with a lot of Citra and Simcoe in the world, or on the hot side, and then it's some Citra, Simcoe, and Laurel in the dry hop, and so it's a little bit brighter than Leota May, a little bit more floral, a little. I just think a little bit brighter all the way around with Citra kind of leading it. It's really approachable West Coast IPA. It's got that present bitterness, but it washes away pretty quickly as well.
What do you think Laurel brings to the table? I'm familiar with all the other hops.
Laurel's a great hop. I love it. We use it in a lot of beers here. I think it might be like our third most contracted hop here at the brewery, but we don't really make any like big Laurel forward beers. We use it as just like an accent hop in a lot of our beers. It's really just got a lot of like kind of bright floral, like almost like geranium like characteristics. So it helps like kind of cut the dankness of a Mosaic or an Equinaut or something like that. Even some of the cattiness of like a Citra. It kind of just helps bring those back to like a really approachable place. It kind of adds and mellows some of the rough edges of the really big hops. But I really, really enjoy it. I think it's a beautiful hop. It's a beautiful hop to grow. It's a beautiful hop to brew it.
The beer is kind of like the big brother of the pale of the 41 pale.
Right. Yeah, it's similar in that way. Yeah,
but it has more citrus notes. It's more of like a tangy sweetness, like even like a tangerine sweetness to it than the other. Yeah. But very much like related, and that's what I like about it. It kind of just stepped up a little bit for if you want a little more bitterness out of it, but even a little more like I don't know, like that, like I said, like that kind of tangy sweetness out of it too. Not cloying. It's just, it has that same dry finish that you like. So when I say sweetness, I don't mean to say cloying.
Definitely.
Just kind of like on the tip of your tongue type of a sweetness, which is really nice against the bitterness. I like this one too.
Every now and then too, sometimes some of these hops, like the fruitiness of the hops, kind of almost pass off as a sweetness, which is, we're trying to do everything to dry them out, but definitely some of these, kind of bright hops that produce a lot of like fruit characteristics.
Yeah.
Can almost pass through into the beer as like being slightly sweet, almost like a sweet orange peel or something similar to that.
That's a great technique.
Someone via our social media recently commented calling it, wow, they've figured out how to can the perfect fresh hop beer, but it's available all year round. I thought that was a pretty clever way of summing up Topcutter.
Yeah, that's a great compliment. Yeah, and our version is definitely fresh.
It's really good. Yeah, it checks all the boxes.
I think it was canned tomorrow. That's how fresh.
Yeah. All right, and now we've got Bottom Cutter as well, which is your Imperial IPA.
Yeah, Bottom Cutter it's the brother or sister implement to the Topcutter. Also replacing people walking around the fields with machetes. So it saved some joints and some fingers for sure. But it's Bottom Cutters are Imperial. It's one of the most popular. Actually, it's the most popular canned Imperial IPA in the state of Washington. And in terms of sales, it's a really, really approachable Imperial. It's really dry. It finishes low to Plato. It's not a lot of sweet malts. We try to take anything out that might be cloying. Like oftentimes, if you drink this like out of the bright tank, it's like so far skewed to the hoppiness that it's not palatable. But by the time it hits its market, it's like perfect.
Okay.
And so it's got a big assertive bitterness. We use Warrior to bitter this beer. Which Warrior is a fantastic bittering hop. Real low KOH, but it's 16-17% alpha, so you definitely get your bang for your buck. But then it's kind of a crapshoot of all of our favorite hops, and that's kind of what we thought a double IPA should be. And so we use a lot of Simcoe in the kettle because we like its like gentle bittering characteristics of it. But in the dry hop, we just kind of went with equal parts of like some Equinox Mosaic, Simcoe, and Citra, just kind of all of our favorites here to throw a big pungent nose on it. But it can be a sneaky beer. I mean, for being damn near 100 IBUs and over 8% alcohol, it drinks like a single IPA.
It really does. So I haven't really liked an Imperial IPA or the style in probably a few years.
Oh, not forever?
No, not in forever. Just in a few years. I did that whole curve where you start out liking everything as hoppy as you can get it, This beer just turned me back into a fan of Imperial IPA. I always love a pale ale, and I like this beer better than I liked the pale ale. And pale ale is my go-to. Everybody knows it. That's all I drink. Yeah. And of these tonight, and I've liked them all, as you could tell, I actually like this one the best, Beardy. It's got a great, drinkability to it.
According to the can, it's 100 IBUs.
But it does not taste like that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No. Yeah. To me, it's just an accentuated...
And might be lying. It's only like 92.
Right, yeah.
It does taste like 92.
Well, there you go.
It's coming out.
It has won some awards, and most notably, Kevin's wife said to me this Christmas, as soon as I tasted Bottom Cutter, I knew I had to marry Kevin.
Oh, wow. Wow. So did I, actually. And yeah.
You got to move to Utah to do that.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. This beer's just something else. It's
pretty good, man.
The bitterness of a Imperial IPA is usually what will turn me off right away. And this one has a firm bitterness. Do not get me wrong. It is firm.
It just gets out of the way when you're done with it. It leaves the room.
It does.
It's a nice bitterness.
Even while you're tasting that firm bitterness, even before it gets out of the way, it's okay. Like I still want it. The hops are so flavorful.
It's pleasing.
That even that bitterness is pleasing, and that's what I just haven't enjoyed in quite some time. Is what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is a really good example of us like carefully selecting our kettle hops to provide the bitterness that we're like really looking for. Something that that's present and on your tongue, but it leaves you really quickly, so you're able to kind of get that like retro nasal aromatics after you're done drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a really kind of aggressive up front, but for the most part, it's all about the aromatics of the beer. We want the bitterness to be there and not be distracting, but just kind of be, one in the piece of the puzzle.
And 5 pounds per barrel, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 5 pounds per barrel. So it's a little over 3 pounds per barrel in the dry hop. It's a pretty aggressive beer for like a big production beer that gets canned. It's hard to jam much more hops into something like that when you're brewing 120 or 240 barrels of it at a time and throwing a bunch into cans. It's hard to jam too much more.
How many pounds per barrel, just for contrast, in the Topcutter?
The Topcutter is just shy of 4 total all the way through the process.
Okay.
And it's just shy of 3 in the dry hop.
Got
it. It's probably a little over 50% bigger in terms of overall hop usage.
Okay.
And the bottom is the only one that I noticed even just a slight haze to it. You can still definitely see through the beer. But 5 pounds a barrel.
It's hard to really get it, perfectly clear. We pride ourselves on clarity out here. It's like when we were opening up and developing these recipes, it was like, hey, we got to make this beer clear. We got to make it colloidally stable. We got to put it into a package so there's some good shelf life on it, because hops degrade so quickly. And then hazy beers became a thing, and we're like, shit, why did they solve our minimum? But it does. We don't filter anything. We just centrifuge it, and so like really fresh bottom cutter does come out of the fuge and in the can like really bright. But over time, it does develop a little bit of a hop haze, through a bunch of the polyphenols that we kind of let through, go through the centrifuge and be a part of the flavor profile. Over time, those will definitely create a little bit of a hop haze.
Do you guys do New England hazy IPAs up there?
Yeah, so we didn't. None of them are part of our core brand, but like I mentioned earlier, when we did an expansion, we put in a 5-barrel system alongside our 30-barrel production brew house that we call the Imagination Station, and we actually were joking that you had to put a retina scanner to get into it, because to brew on that system, you would have needed to be like at least a little bit drunk or a little bit stoned. Yeah. But that was a little bit out of our budget, so you just get to make a beer in there whenever you want. But
great.
But hazy beers are getting popular out on the West Coast, and so yeah, we do. We put out at least 5 or 10 barrels of a hazy beer each week, and it's basically only available in our tap room around Yakima. We'll send some over to like events in like Seattle, Spokane, Portland, but typically those are just for festivals. We keep some of that stuff close to home. We're hoping to be able to expand that line a little bit into cans in late 2019 or early 2020, be able to can some of the like big hazy beers. But right now we're, what keeps the light on and what keeps all of us coming to work is still a nice West Coast IPA.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, we use that Imagination Station to really be a test kitchen. And so while we get to like go crazy and make whatever we want, it is actually a testing ground for new recipes that we put out there. So right now we have a beer in our tap room that's gotten a lot of fan following. We've been testing out this recipe for our new IPA Rotator series. And so what a lot of people here locally knew as Mosaic Monarchy is now going to be Hop Country in cans, the first of our IPA Rotator series. So that will hit the majority of our sales distribution footprint in early March. So we're stoked about that.
Excellent. Whole new series of IPAs. I love it.
The Imagination Station.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, listen, I want to tell our listeners this. I recommend that you do the exact tasting in the exact order that we just did.
Absolutely.
Because it just was this perfect, increase as it went, not only in quality, but it just in the flavor profiles themselves. I thought they just went really well together.
Yeah, agreed. And it wasn't like here's one thing scaled up.
Yeah, agreed.
They're very different, and the scale, the scope was very wide, but they were also familiar from glass to glass, right? There's something familiar about each one, but different at the same time.
Yeah.
And all very well executed.
Yes. So Field 41, Leota May IPA, Topcutter IPA, then Bottom Cutter IPA.
Bottom cutter.
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
This might be the first 100 IBU beer that I've not hated.
Really?
like hated after drinking it, because now I can't taste anything.
Right.
Yeah. Now I at least feel like I could taste something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Still.
You can absolutely.
Yeah. I think now we're just going to drink more of it. We got another can to fight over. Yeah. Folks, if you want to go to balebreaker.com, you can learn more about the beer and more about Kevin and Danica and the story behind Bale Breaker Brewing. They got a great website, actually. Well done, Danica. If that's you, you're doing a nice job over there. Looks really good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for being
so
on.
nice to talk with you.
You too. We hope to see more of your beer around, and thanks again for taking the time with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
All right,
bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging.
All right. Well, I hope I get to meet them, too, when we go to Hop and Brew School.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Go over to that brewery. I was actually looking at pictures. The brewery looks gorgeous, too.
Really?
In the middle of a hop field.
Nice.
And it looks like kind of like a big modern barn type of architecture.
Okay. Almost like a winery?
Yeah. It actually looks a lot like a winery.
That's cool.
Really nice. So, balebreaker.com, you can check it out. And I really like those beers.
Yeah. Surprisingly, so do I.
Right. Well, right, and I knew that. I was like, all right, well, IPA show for JP, and I never mind an IPA show if they're all good like that.
Right.
Sometimes better than others, but I
kept thinking of people that always say, like, oh, I don't like IPAs. Like, oh, really? You just something about IPAs you don't like, and they can never describe it.
Yeah.
They would like these beers.
They would.
Good.
And
he's thinking about me. That's nice.
No.
You're
one of those.
One of those.
Even with the Imperial IPA one, I think
you just like the good IPA. That's all. That's not. Don't apologize.
Just like good IPA. Yeah. And now I would say that about IPAs, Tasty, like you're saying. Well, you just haven't found a good one.
Right.
I generally would not say that about if someone says I don't like Imperial IPAs. I pretty much give up on them for Imperial IPAs. Like myself, right. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You're not really. It's a style thing.
It's an extreme thing.
Yeah. Okay, but then this one comes along.
But what I would say is, I understand that, but try this.
Yeah.
It's like the old adage where there's a beer for everybody.
Right.
Even in the more extreme styles, like Imperial IPA.
Yeah.
And I think Imperial IPAs have kind of gotten a bad rap to a certain extent, especially when breweries were kind of discovering the style and trying to figure out what the style even fucking meant.
Right.
What does that even mean? Is it a double IPA or is it an Imperial IPA? Remember that? We used to have that debate on the show earlier all the time.
Yeah.
What is the difference between the two things? Now it's kind of filtered out and a little more solidified, and people understand how hops work now. And so if you're not a fan of Imperial IPAs, I would suggest trying a couple now.
Yeah.
You might actually, not hate them.
Yeah.
No,
now that there's triple IPAs to push the envelope.
Well, true.
And the boozy, super bitter beers. Now doubles can be drinkable.
Yeah. Remember quad IPAs? Fucking
no.
retards.
No.
QPAs?
Those already happened?
Belgian quads and I'm glad that the pendulum swung and then it kind of ratcheted back a little bit and then kind of went off in a 90-degree angle to cloudy beers. But I'm okay. We don't have to revisit that portion of the world.
Live and learn.
Quad IPA.
Oh, it'll all come back. When your daughter's about 21, she's going to be talking to you about quad IPAs
Dad,
again.
Teach me how to brew a quad IPA. I'm out.
Yeah.
My ghost.
Who are you?
My soul will leave my body.
Yeah. All right. Well done, Bale Breaker. Those are some nice beers to drink and talk about, so I appreciate that. All right. If you're looking for a place to get stuff so that you can brew your own great beer, go to greatfermentations.com. They're now offering specialized grain ordering. You can order any grain in less than 1 pound increments. Perfect for specialty malts. You can ask to combine or keep grains separate even. You can even tell them to crush the grains if you want. Check them out at greatfermentations.com. And as always, Great Fermentations provides top-notch customer service and same-day shipping on many items. GreatFermentations.com. Check them out. All right, we're going to take us a little break here. When we come back, got a couple of things left to finish, which we will do with gusto. Hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
Listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending mash and boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Hey, this is Brendan from Central Coast Brewing. You're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks again to Bale Breaker Brewing Company for hanging out with us today and sending us some amazing beer. And speaking of amazing beer, don't forget about our friends over at Neshaminy Creek Brewing, which has been brewing award-winning beers in Croydon, Pennsylvania since 2012. Proud winners of 4 Philly Beer Scene Magazine Awards for Brewer of the Year and 3 for Brewery of the Year. 2-time GABF Vienna-style lager winner, 2013 and 2016, and then bronze for their smoke lager in 2016 and 2017. They got a big-ass tap room with 24 beers on tap, 18 of which are rotating and seasonal limited beers. If you can't make it to Croydon, hit up their second location in Jenkintown called the Borough Brewhouse, which features a full menu and 22 beers on tap, including guest taps from local breweries, meaderies, as well as Pennsylvania cider. Go check them out at NeshaminyCreekBrewing.com, and when you stop in, tell them that we sent you. They're going to want to hear it. Okay. Twitter game?
Twitter game. Yeah, sorry, I was drinking a beer. Jeremy will definitely want to hear where you found out about. And if it's from us, definitely. He will probably hug you. He might kiss you. I don't know.
No matter where you heard about him, Tell them it was from us.
That's right.
That's right. If you've been going there for years, tell them.
Still tell them.
Right.
Yeah. All right. What was our Twitter game today?
Well, our Twitter game was informing everybody that we are recording every action that you're doing while you're listening to this show.
Right.
And it's within your best interest to just come clean and tell us now.
God, how did that go?
It could have gone better. I'll be honest. We got. I'm trying to find the third one.
Narking on the rest of you guys.
Give me a second, because Twitter's weird now.
Okay.
It's weird, and
It's changed since it used to be, or
Are you still having trouble finding all of the answers?
Yes, I'm still. Yes, exactly right. And because I saw a thing and then I didn't, and then I tried to copy it, and then now I can't find. Oh, here it is, right here.
Do you need a moment?
No, I got it over here.
Oh, okay. Oh. My burps taste better after their hoppy beers, too. I noticed that, like, in the middle of it.
Checking all the boxes.
I just was like, wow, that's a lot better than the beer I usually burp up. Yeah. So it's gross, but
that's pretty funny.
Crossed my mind.
Those warrior hops.
Yeah.
Well, and that Laurel, the way he described them, it totally makes sense how it kind of just is a unifier and adds a floral freshness to your beer and burps.
Right.
Yeah, fresh going down and coming.
I can't
up.
imagine have a better way to drink beer than have the brewer describe it to you as you're drinking it. I mean,
oh yeah,
could it be any better than that?
Yeah. And he did a good job too. Not everybody knows quite how to describe their beer, to be honest with you, which seems odd,
Kevin
but
did wonderful.
Yeah.
Honestly,
from the hop field.
Yeah, it could be better than that, Tasty. I want him to be pouring it into my mouth
as he's telling you about it.
Yes,
This could happen if you go to hop and brew school.
God damn it! If we go, can that happen? We have to record it and
we've got to do video if we go anyway. So
oh yeah.
And,
oh my god,
and 100% eye contact the whole time.
Yes,
just gazing into your eyes.
Beer, this was brewed. It was canned 2 weeks ago, and it features a heavy dose of Simcoe with a touch of Mosaic, and then I fingered my butt and stirred it.
This is a 3-camera shot because I need both of you and the mouth. So we're gonna have to get to work on that. All right. So,
okay, you ready?
The results are in.
Yeah, we got some good ones.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, again, Twitter's is weird now, but it's all right. So, Steve writes in. He says, "Just listening to the Brewing Network is embarrassing enough. He doesn't have to come clean with what weird shit that he does while he's listening."
Good point.
That's just it.
That's a good point.
Herman says it should be obvious that if we listen to the session, that nothing we do is interesting ever.
Okay, another good. Now it took me a minute, but
right?
yeah, okay,
right?
Yeah.
Is that a dig at us?
That's super sad. Yeah.
We don't even get that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of like a mutual, like a suicide pact kind of a thing.
Okay, we're in this together.
Instead of suicide, it's I'm just going to murder us both with one bullet.
Don't assume we have any pride at all.
Right.
Jeff Covey says you were only listening, not watching, right?
Got it. Okay. God, I'm really slow today, or I don't know what.
That
okay.
one was kind of gross. Like there were multi-levels.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
It sounds like listening is too much.
Yeah.
Chris Rogers writes in, says, mainly audio evidence of me stacking pawns. And I don't know, I don't understand if that's some sort of like joke.
I don't know either.
Or if he's a pawn.
Chess
he plays chess.
player.
Do you stack pawns?
I don't know, man. Maybe it was a misspelling. Who knows? I don't know. Ryan T says, every session I brew a quick lager, fermented at 70 degrees. While I do this, I drink the one from last week, so it's still hazy. I call them JP's Haze Lager, but with an O, lager.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty funny. Kira says, macrame, mahjong, and making pozzoli.
Okay.
And then Patty's House Ales and Lagers writes and says, me chanting, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, Bev's cool, this sucks.
I love it.
You can't be right about everything.
That's true.
Well, now we have 3
You
good
suck.
ones.
Well,
we got too many good ones here.
And then the last one
great,
is
more good ones.
from Tyler's, the last one. He says, everything I wish I could be doing while listening to a new Lunch Meat episode.
Okay.
That was easy.
All right. So 3 good ones. The first one, what's the first one again?
The first one was just listening is embarrassing enough.
Okay, which I was going to give it to all the way until we got up to the brews a lager every week.
Okay, yeah.
At 70 degrees and keeps it hazy.
Yeah.
Which then I was thinking, okay, that one's pretty easy to give to the win. And then I like the this sucks,
Chanting,
this sucks, this sucks, Bevo's cool, this sucks.
I agree. That's it's definitely tough.
This is a tough one.
There's a T-shirt in that last one.
That's a good
Oh, yeah,
point.
that guy's going to get a T-shirt regardless, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shirt.
I don't know. I guess we're going to have to vote.
What do you do?
We're going to have to vote.
I don't want to award somebody who brews a quick lager and then drinks it within a week. So I'll vote for either of the other two.
They
Encouraging the joke.
Yeah, right.
But it shows that they know us. That one shows the best that they listen.
It's not even fun. Don't even joke about that. It's not even funny, guys. I have family who brewed a quick lager. It's insulting to me. Don't.
I get it. You wanted to make me cry when I go home tonight.
All right, well, there's 5 of us, so we can put this to a vote, I think. Everyone only gets to vote once.
Man.
So, are you ready to vote? Have you guys made your decisions?
What was the first one again? I remember the last
Just
two.
listening is embarrassing enough.
Okay.
Right, never mind what we're recording.
Right, yeah, okay.
Just listening.
Okay, I've made up my mind. I think Warren should go first.
I'm voting for the last one. This sucks.
This sucks chant.
Okay.
Might as well.
Tasty also this sucks chant.
Tasty raised his arm, but at a 45.
Mine
could
was
probably
straight up.
extend that more to a 90.
He's getting
Or a
older.
180,
He has an excuse.
The shoulders don't
He
work.
has
as
John McCain
well.
syndrome. He can't elevate his arm.
If he were 100 years younger, I would allow it to criticize him.
What are we in a haunted house? No, Tasty's reaching for something on the top shelf. It's fine.
And John McCain's not raising any arms anytime soon.
Oh, stop it.
Actually, he was buried like this.
All right, Beaver, what's yours? Beaver.
JP, you go.
I'm going to vote for the last one, too. I think I'm going to do that.
Well, that makes it a
the
win.
winner. And I didn't want to vote for myself, but I obviously was going to, because I am cool.
Yeah. Just to know if it's unanimous or not, I was still teetering, but I think by a hair, this sucks.
Yeah, I wasn't paying. It was. Yeah.
This sucks chant by a hair.
Yeah,
so.
right. And
Who's that? Patty wrote that in?
Yeah. What was your follow-up?
Congratulations.
Yeah. What was what's the hair between?
It was it's embarrassing enough. The first one that we listened. Yeah,
I would have gone the quick lager.
The lager.
Me also. That was my number 2.
I mean, they were all right there.
Yeah.
If we weren't so cheap, I'd give them all a prize. But as they know, since they've been listening for so long, we are that cheap.
We got some weird broad in a fedora staring at us through the fishbowl right now.
That happens from time to time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look.
Not bad. You should look.
No, I don't trust you. I saw you do this lip thing every now and then when you're trying to keep a straight.
She wasn't bad though. She had the old thing.
Our fishbowl of a studio here at the Hop Grenade.
Yeah. Watch, I'm going to say this, and it's going to be like your guys' friend or whatever. Hey, it's Katrina. What's up?
Did you know that they're playing tonight's show out there?
Oh
so
shit!
Now they know.
Damn it!
God damn it! It was a dude.
Longtime BN homie Michael Fairbrother wants you guys to check out MoonlightMeadery.com. Moonlight Meadery, mead for any occasion. Moonlight meads are the reference standards for mead categories in the BJCP style guidelines, if you didn't know that. And right now, you can save 10% on two or more bottles by using BN Army. That's BNARMY. At moonlightmeadery.com/shop. Wonderful, delicious, category-defining Moonlight Mead. Check them out and let them know that we sent you. Use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and you're going to get 10% off 2 or more bottles. moonlightmeadery.com/shop. And thanks to Michael for supporting the program. And finally, if you're looking for a podcast to help you with your marketing needs, the Branding Brews podcast is a deep inside look at everything that revolves around branding and marketing a brewery. Branding Brews interviews industry professionals covering in-depth strategies and topics like labels, packaging, websites, social media content, trademark marketing, and more. Whether you're in sales and marketing, you own a brewery, or you're looking to start a brewery, Branding Brews is a podcast for you. Go to brandingbrews.com or subscribe to the show wherever you like to get your podcasts. And Ryan over there does a good job. Did our Springfest logo this year, as a matter of fact. Our 10th anniversary Springfest logo.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's a long time of Beb doing things.
That it is.
Me not.
I think it's only my 4th year.
I think it's only my 4th year.
Shut up.
Of what? Of doing the festival?
I've worked them all, but
yeah, don't be ridiculous. You've always worked every single one.
A lot of stuff.
Oh, like all the permits and all that stupid shit.
Yeah, you haven't been the organizer the whole time.
Right.
But,
No, you did. You took over for me. So however long because when I had my surgery, that's when you started doing all the food permits and all that kind of stuff. So
And you haven't been to one since.
No, I went last year.
You did?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he enjoyed it as a guest.
I wasn't going to go, and then my family showed up, and I was like, oh, fuck, now I got to come down. No, it wasn't
I thought you meant your family showed up at your house, and you were like, I gotta get out.
There's a place I gotta be.
I ducked out the bathroom window. It was the year before.
Okay.
When we're still living in Concord.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now the commute's just too far.
It's too far, dude.
Well, I am excited about it. I'm excited about 10 years. It feels like a real milestone, and we have such a great home here in the Concord.
The original home brew pouring event.
That's right.
Yeah.
We were the originators.
I mean, especially for a beer festival, I think these days, to last 10 years is crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're a lot of work to put on. Look, if you guys have never put on a beer fest and done a good one, they're a ton of work. And there's a reason
they weren't all good.
They kind of last 3 or 4 years and then just kind of go away.
Yeah.
But not this one.
I also think we've grown it the right way, which was pretty darn organically. We had that first blowout year, which was just kind of more of a shit show than anybody wanted. Yeah. And then sort of just grew it from there. You know, we're not the festival that sells out in 8 minutes, like Firestone Invitational and things like that. We're also, though, not the festival that tries to cram 10,000 people into a tiny place. We have actually capped sales for 3 years now. I have not increased. We've sold out, and I just cap it because it just feels right in the park. It's just the right amount of beer being poured from the amount of breweries.
Porter potty to pecker ratio are
it's still good there. So I guess I'm just sort of proud of those things too. That we didn't always sell out. We grew into that, and then we just kind of stay right in our groove there.
Yeah.
So anyway, thebrewingnetwork.com is where you can get tickets, and they're $40 while early bird tickets still exist.
Love
so
to have you.
Get them. Come join us. Tasty's Tasting Room will be there.
Be in full bloom for sure.
Pouring homebrew, and that'll be exciting. I have the entertainment lined up too. Actually, I forgot.
4 Friends and Sam.
Yeah.
Come back.
Well, both guests, former interview guests on the Brewing Network, Lucas Ohio Patty, is back with a new album, and he's opening. And now you'll have to go back in your memories for this one.
Oh shit!
But I went to school with this guy, and then we lost touch for a while. He's a great rockabilly artist, and he's been very successful. And
Brian Setzer.
The Royal Deuces, Mitch. Oh man, I forget his name now.
You can't remember the guy?
Mitch Hedberg, I believe is his name.
I know his last name. I completely know his last name, and I have not.
It's all the pressure.
Well, Mitch and the Royal Deuces.
Welcome to my world.
Mitch Polzak, for God's sake.
Mitch Polzak.
Mitch Polzak.
You go to MitchPolzak.com.
He sounds like a rockabilly guy.
Also, by the way, happens to be co-mayor of neighboring town Port Costa.
He's my neighbor. Really my neighbor.
Yes.
Port Costa, you can throw a stone across it. Why do they need a co-mayor?
Right.
The co-mayor is also...
The mayor, he just has split personalities.
Is he
He's 12 years old.
No.
It's like 12 or 14 years old. They have a child mayor, and then they have Mitch, the adult mayor. And I don't think that that's in the bylaws that it has to be that way, but I think the kid ran and won, and so did Mitch.
Couldn't sign the paycheck,
and Mitch came in second to a 12-year-old?
No, they tied or something. I don't know. They're co-mayors. I don't know.
I'm trying to look it up right now, dude.
Dude, I want to move to Port Costa.
Because... I was trying to remember Mitch, and there's a cool bar in Port Costa called the Warehouse.
The Warehouse.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to the bartender, and I was trying to remember Mitch, and I'm like, hey, and I knew he was the mayor, and I was like, hey, what's your mayor's name? And she's like, which one?
Bobby Jones, little Bobby.
And I'm like, well, okay, I don't know. What do you mean, which one? And then she was like, well, there's Mitch. And I'm like, oh, Mitch. Yeah, of course. That's what I'm talking about. And then she's like, and then there's the boy child one.
Boy child. I mean, kudos to her, because I've met the Concord mayor and I couldn't tell you his name.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Right, yeah.
That's why they're called mayor.
Guy who pours beer terribly.
Yeah.
Man, there's a cool little bar in Port Costa. I forget what it's called. It's like the Hog's Head or something like that. It's like a cocktail bar and kind of like a high-end food spot. The food's really good.
The food spot I know of.
I think it's like the Bull something.
Sure. The Bull something.
I think you're both wrong, but it is a fancy dinner place. That's how people are describing it to me, not like a bar.
Yeah, well, it's like the Dram Shop, I think, is the cocktail bar.
Okay.
But it's like, $13, $14 cocktails and pretty good stuff.
Okay.
And then they have like a high-end, $40 steak.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Port Costa is like 200 people.
Bull Valley.
Right. Oh, it is? Okay. Wow.
No.
That doesn't sound right either.
The Bull Valley Roadhouse.
Well,
There's only two places in Port Costa.
Bull Valley Roadhouse. She's right. The Dram Shop is the name of the bar inside Bull Valley Roadhouse. This segment sponsored by Wendy's. Go to Wendy's for all your needs.
So, do you remember the Royal Deuces performing back when we were in the garage? He sang a song called Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer.
I do remember that.
No, I would have sucked him off if he did that.
He did do it, and you
Was
were
I
there.
there?
Yes,
Was I
of
sucking him
course
off?
you were there.
There was a bruise on the back of your head.
I cannot confirm or deny that. He's a politician now.
Shit, I'm so sorry.
I'm waiting till those pictures are valuable.
Me too.
But anyway, I'm excited about the entertainment because Lucas Ohio Patty,
cool, man.
and then the Royal Deuces doing a little bit of rockabilly.
That's a good lineup.
I think
like
it'll be fun. We're changing it up a little this year.
Yeah.
So
from
Static and
our
Surrender
normal.
didn't make the cut.
They did not make the cut this year, but they played last year, and that's why. Yeah.
And last week.
And last week on the show, yes. Yeah, anyhow, Lucas played a few years back, and so he's opening again. He's got a new album, and then I just thought it'd be cool.
A couple of times, right? Hasn't he opened a couple of times?
No, I think he played once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Schumann's various bands have opened a couple of times.
Oh, God.
Trophy Fire.
Thank God that's over.
Well, Lucas has played in the studio here before.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
A couple of times, right?
Yeah, man.
So
I don't know.
All right.
Sounds good, man.
I'm excited. So, thebrewingnetwork.com, get your tickets. Next week on the program, Secret Trail Brewing Company. Feels like you have to say it that way. Where are they from? Do you know?
Chico.
Where they come from?
Yeah,
Chico?
they're local, Chico.
Excellent, local-ish.
There's also going to be an event going on at the Hop Grenade simultaneously. We will have 6 beers on tap.
Ooh,
well,
Monty will be here.
Okay.
All right, well, come on down to the Hop Grenade next Monday then.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, for Secret Trail Brewing. All right, we're going to get out of here. Are you ready to get out of here, JP?
No. I forgot.
Okay.
Too much fun.
You don't have the things?
No, I don't have the things, man.
Well, I guess I'll play your song anyway, and we'll just talk about you.
Yeah, he is an asshole.
Yeah, God damn it. I knew I was forgetting something, too.
I just listened to it all clearly now.
Everyone be quiet, please, while Sugar Valley Brewer dresses me down.
That's quite all right, JP. All right. Like I said, go to the Hop Grenade at Fort Collins if you're looking for some Pliny the Younger or other Russian River beers in Northern California. Also, you might want to pay attention to our social media here in Concord because there's probably another keg of that Younger going to tap in the next week or two, even outside of the party that we're doing. All right. That's it for us. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to Bale Breaker Brewing Company for being on the program. Thank you, Tasty, JP, Beardy, and Bevo. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you next week.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy, and when